public comment on agenda items?
Which agenda?
Well, that's a good question. We all want to have 4 periods of discussion, so I guess we'll go with finance or facilities, whatever you have. Good question. So either or both.
I
You're
have,
going to say I have neither.
just wondered.
I just made one comment. I have a facilities question.
Who are you?
Out here in the
Who are
parking
you?
lot, there's these yellow lines that says no parking. And yet it says fire zone, and yet there's vehicles parked in those areas. Are those areas really no parking, or can I park there now, or don't you worry about the safety of people? That's my question.
Thank you for your comment. Dr. Adney, you want to talk about that at all? I think, we try to do a lot here. Once or twice I've parked in there.
Once or twice I've parked in it.
So you try not to get
Are
people.
you one of the people that blocked me in, Mr.
No,
Guest?
it wasn't me. You try not to get people towed away because, you might not come back to the meeting.
Mr. Loeffler
You're
and
right
I
though, but
have actually talked about this, and do you want to share one of the things we're thinking about, Mr. Loeffler?
Well, I've been told, I'm under the impression that we cannot tow anybody that does park in there unless we sign a letter and send it to the local police. And I was going to make a few phone calls to start that to see if, in fact, that can be done if we would give them permission to do that. And then we might add some additional signs. We talked about also during the day, I guess it's daycare or the children that get dropped off, and we may want to move them down to a lower area. That would stop a lot of it during the early morning and around the 10, 11 o'clock time also. So we are looking into it.
okay, thank you. Any other comments? All right, then we'll get started. The first item is obsolete item review. Has to deal with South Middle School math textbooks, social studies textbooks, and some furniture. Bedminster's got a projector and some chairs. The high school has some VCRs and televisions, and some projectors and a microwave. And the maintenance department's got some Philips light bulbs. And the district office has got old library books. So these are either going to appear, go to public surplus, or some of them are, one's going to the TVs and VCRs are going to the care and share, and the rest are going to public surplus. Do any board members have any questions about any of those items? Because if not, then these will show up on our agenda for the at the next meeting. Okay, so that was pretty fast right through there. The second item on facilities is a prior year capital project review, which Mr. Loeffler is going to take the microphone, and I don't know, do you have a PowerPoint or anything? Or
Yeah.
You do? Yeah. So we went so fast that we're not ready. Oh, this one?
Do you want me to do it? You didn't do anything.
Okay, the board last month asked if I would maybe go quickly through our capital improvement plan. So I want to start off with 2006. Right before I got here, Pennridge School District hired Dewey Engineering to do a feasibility study of all the buildings. And so they turned that into a district-wide evaluation by meeting with principals, people on my staff, secretaries, and actually went through all the buildings and did a pretty good study of what we had, mechanically, roofs, parking lots, that sort of thing. I came on about midway through that and got involved right away. And from there, we turned that into the capital improvement plan, which is the white book that we hand out every year. You know, it's like the school Bible at the moment. It has all the information. Every school is broken down into age, when the renovations were, when the roofs were put on, things that need to be done, things that should be done. So through that summary, they put it through a matrix. And through the matrix, so there was no one person deciding what should be done. It really worked off of safety and education to be the priority of what's to be done. So the matrix would be 1 through 9s, and safety and education, they became number 9s right away. And there were a lot of 9s when we started this. So we took that matrix, we looked at the book, and we turned it into our first 5-year plan. So our 5-year capital plan started in 2007, and from there we started with the repairs and maintenance on the properties. In 2007, as I talked about, a lot of our issues were like that roof there. Bad roofs, 10 years, 15 years out of warranty, leaking. Again, I said this before, where kindergartens were, 9 buckets laying around, the kindergarten teacher was working around it, and it was almost like it didn't even bother. That problems throughout the district are going away. The Pennridge Elementary replaced roofs on sections of the roof. West Rock Hill Elementary, we also had a lot of water infiltration through the stucco, and the large louvers were repaired. Bedminster Elementary, we had the domestic water treatment system. That was original, and there's possible health issues that could happen out of that. In 2008, we started our major renovations on the elementary schools with the window replacement, casework, interior, exterior lighting, mechanical systems, boilers. We did the life safety upgrades and domestic water piping, along with the secure vestibules. High school, we had water infiltration through the existing metal panels on the 1974 building. Penn Central, we had some concrete replacement going on. Sowers Elementary, at that particular time, we lost the office air conditioning unit. And Youth Elementary, again, more roof replacements. 2009, we had Guth, West Rock Hill, Sowersville Elementary, South Middle School. We had miscellaneous masonry repairs. A lot of stone block work in the masonries were just crumbling. Bricks you could just pick up, or many bricks were just falling apart. Siler Elementary, more roof replacements. Sellersville was our next major renovation with exterior windows, casework, interior exterior lighting, mechanical systems, and again, secure vestibules. South Middle School, we replaced all of the roof on South that year except for the 30s building, the original building. The rest of the building was replaced with new roofing. South Middle School, we also replaced the underground fuel tank. West Rock Hill, we started replacing repairs of the paving. We also did some high school paving. It was driveway D that was never done part of the project. It was the construction inlet and outlet for that, and when the school was finally completed, that was one driveway that was not part of the project. We also had a lot of water drainage coming in over that drive, and we were able to remake the swales and take it to the proper drainage. Also at the high school, we preempt traffic control devices. Transportation building, we added secure bus parking in the front area. Diabler, more roofs in certain sections, including masonry repairs. And also on our buildings that have oil and gas, we did a fuel switch over that automatically switches from gas to oil when certain temperatures drop below 15 degrees or so. UGI through our contract, asked that our buildings automatically switch over to oil at that time. 2010, Grass Elementary, replacing windows, interior exterior lighting, mechanical systems, life safety upgrades, and secure vestibule. High school roof replacements. West Rock Hill, replaced the underground storage tank. South, we did the general bleacher repairs at Popular Field. 2011, we did the Guth Elementary renovation. West Rock Hill, replaced all the shingles on that roof, downspouts and the flat areas. South Middle School, we had the air handlers replaced. Replaced 2 boilers and controls. Food service, we added the generator. We had a very small generator over at that building, and the IT department was starting to build their IT over there, the district-wide center, so we needed a better generator in case we lost power over there. And Grass Elementary, again, we had domestic water treatment that needed to be replaced. Food service transportation building, the front loading dock and the front staircase was falling apart at that time. High school, North Middle School, we did the planning replacement of the trees. High school, we did the pool deck, the retile in the locker room, and the shower floor room, and the drain around the pool. High school, we did some HVAC modifications in the green gym. It was an area that really wasn't touched, and again, we had some environmental issues going on, so we added a little heat and dehumidification to the existing system to take care of the possible mold problems. And at the high school, some site ratings. 2012 projects, we went to West Rock Hill. Exterior windows all the way around were rotten out, and at that time we did new card access and we did the secure vestibule at West Rock Hill. The support center, that's when we upgraded the main data room with HVAC and lighting, fire suppression system, and card access to keep it secure. Central Middle School was really one of the first projects that we were following that plan very carefully. We got through 5 years. That's when it was really the first change to our capital plan was the Central Middle School air conditioning unit. So that's all completed and running well. High school campus, Bedminster Elementary School, we did crack repair and seal coating. Central Middle School, we installed aluminum storefront doors, intercom systems for their secure vestibule. And Bedminster, we did the back driveway. 2013, the Penn Central air conditioning led to Penn South's Central air conditioning, which is completed and running very well. We also did the secure vestibule, fire alarm, and card access. Bedminster, we redid the library and office HVAC replacements. Guth, we did a walk-in replacement for the food service. In high school here, we resurfaced the track. Now, all those projects, you know, again, the buildings, a lot of roof projects, a lot of water infiltration, a lot of driveways that were, you know, potholes. We really have to thank the board and the previous board for allowing all these projects to happen, because our schools really are much tighter, much better shape, much more efficient with the windows, the roofs, the boilers, the heating, heating systems. Again, remember with the Bedminster boilers, when we replaced them, we realized that that particular year we saved a full tank of oil, which is about 7,000 to 10,000 gallons, at $3 a gallon. So there's quite a savings, with all this work that has been done. So this year we're doing a generator at the operations building. The roof replacement storage is all but completed. Penn South Middle School, the windows are completed, and the brick has been cleaned, and West Rock Hill, all the lights have been replaced, the T12 lights with T8 lighting. The exterior lights are replaced also. I have some photos for these projects that'll come up next. District support, we're renovating that 1965 building, and that's going very well. Peck South Middle School, the bleacher removal, and Hellman Field is the installed new bleachers. So roof at Sargent Elementary was really problematic. We had lots of water infiltration. I had my facility manager constantly changing ceiling tiles because we didn't want any environmental issues with them. And we found that over the years there just wasn't enough roof drains or it wasn't drained properly. So we now have a tapered roof on there with additional roof drains. This particular area was really a problem right outside the library and in the library area. So it's working on the roof. That's the completed roof, 30-year Garland warranty. Should have any problems there for a long time. And South Middle School window replacement.
Where's the flash?
As you can see, the lintels along here were metal lintels, and over the years, from 1930, I believe, started to expand with rust and actually started to crack all over the brick above it. So all this brick had to be replaced before the new windows could go in. They power wash, scrub, clean the building. It's quite a project out there. So that's a picture of the building last year. As you can see, we have some air conditioning wall units that I'm not a big fan of, nor do I really allow. But through, this is before the central air was in. You can see the years of dirt and grime up there. And again, under here, all the staining from underneath the windows. It's last year's picture, this is this year's picture. New windows are in, facade's all cleaned up. The brickwork was removed, the new brick put in, very nice match. That matches good with the secure vestibule that we put on the year before, the brickwork between the two buildings. West Rock Hill lighting, we had a lot of issues. That's sometimes typical when you pick up a drop ceiling and see what's up there, but the more we got involved with the electrician, the more we found that there was a lot of hidden problems that did cost us a little bit of money, but I think we had a good electrician that actually handled a lot of it themselves without really charging us. I think if we had a different electrician on board, we could have seen some higher costs there on dealing with code issues that, again, were kind of hidden behind the scenes. These are the piers that were holding the old lights on. They were all like that. They were all deteriorating. And really, kids are running around with kind of sharp corners. So the new piers, pole holders are concrete. These are LED outside lights. At night, that building is beautiful with the lighting. Cafeteria lighting is new. That particular area, maybe it doesn't show that well in the picture, but it just, just with the drop ceiling and the lighting alone, makes it look like a painted, well-lit, brighter, cleaner building. And that's throughout every classroom, everywhere. District Support Center, if you haven't been over there, again, it was a building that used to be many different things, and over the years, more walls went up, and you could clean the place and you wouldn't even know it was clean. It was just so old. And there's one of the major reasons or problems that we've had, ongoing issues like that. Outside windows, single pane glass, metal frames, water infiltration, throughout. And again, we have our data center located in the center of this building, which was secured. First thing we had to do is abate about 9,000 square feet of asbestos floor tile. Once that was abated, we had our air clearances. We could come in and do the demo. Starting to remove all walls, drop ceilings, block walls, basically the interior. Everything in the interior came down. Block walls, wood walls, except for the server room itself that stayed protected. Mechanical issues, mechanical equipment came down. All that's getting replaced. Opened up the back wall to get a some more equipment in there that they could move that stuff in and out. Some of the mechanic equipment that was up there from 1965, a lot of it was hard to get your hands on, to work on. At this point, if anything failed, it was unrepairable. The timing was right to get this building done. Drop ceiling's coming down, the floors are starting to get prepped. We're taking this building, we're breaking into 3 sections. Before it was one open building that, bus drivers could go to the IT could go to the bus, the food service. It was just one pretty much large open building. We needed to secure it into 3 sections, which we did. We also had maybe up to close to 200 people using two bathrooms, 2 small bathrooms. So part of this project is divided up. IT and food service will have a set of bathrooms of their own. The bus drivers will have gang toilets back in their area, and the office for transportation will have the office bathroom. So we had to dig some trenches and get some piping laid around the back and connected. Walls went up pretty quickly, dividing up the 3 departments that are working out of there. Part of this, there's going to be a lot of security. Transportation won't be able to come over to the IT department. Food service won't be able to come over to the IT department unless they have administrative rates through the card access. The plumbing is roughed in, that's the transportation office bathrooms. Drywall's going up, door frames are going in, the project's moving along really well. They're framing out for the windows that are coming in the next couple of days in the back of the building. Up here, the bleacher removal. Of course, the first thing we had is the inspection of the light pole, and was asked to remove it for the light reasons. And as we further inspected it, we found that all of the lights had to come down because of the timbers that were holding it up, as you see there. So the bleachers came down. We had a great contractor that just had no problem doing the demo. He had the site cleaned up pretty quickly. As you remember, part of the inspection was to take a closer look at the piers that were holding up the bleachers, and that happens to be one of them. I think we would have found more problems if we would have decided to look deeper into that situation over there. There's a pile of the piers. The electrical cabinet that was right out front, water is not normally a good idea to be coming out of the high voltage cabinet. That was replaced also. That was one of the poles, one was removed. So the landscaping materials down, crushed stones going on top, and the temporary bleachers that we have will lay right in that area right there. That's the visitor side. And then on the home side, we're going to put 5 of the temporary bleachers on this side right in that area. This guy was able to grow grass without a problem. He showed up in about 3 days. It was amazing. Public track and field bleacher installation. That's one of the footers that they're digging for the bleachers, which is one of the footers out of hundreds. It's about 7 foot by 7 foot. Lots of rebar. That footer gets poured, and then a 24-inch sun tube will go around this area to create the piers. So there's a template for laying out the bolt pattern. So when the concrete was still wet, they could stick bolts in, use the template, make them exactly where when the bleacher comes in, it fits right on top of there. They all fit perfectly. Again, going back to the footer that was at Poppy versus what they're putting in now. Every pier they had to vibrate to get all the air and the concrete to settle all the way down. We added some additional drainage coming off the hill and then off the track right here is a bit of a V. This is the new walkway on the home side and the walkway on that side, but we need to add a little additional drainage. You can see it's right in here now too. This is one part of the walkway, that'll be the other side. All the piers on the home side are up, the metal went up, middle beams, the stringers starting to go up. The home field went up very quickly. Some of the decking's going down. Second row of stringers were going up. Risers, the back fence posts. As soon as I could get up there and take a seat, one thing I noticed is these bleachers go up pretty high, pretty steep, and then when you're on the top row, you're not that far from the field. It's actually a great view. Some of the thoughts were we're going to be back too far, but it really is not a bad view from sitting up there. Also, you can see that we have the different sections broken up in a silver and a dark green. Press box being delivered by crane. (2015) next year's projects. So in our capital plan, we're asking to move ahead with the summer projects, which is the Central Middle School roof coating. That roof is out of warranty about 5 years now. It's starting to become problematic. If we wait, another 5 years, I don't think we'll be able to apply the roof coating, and then we'll be looking at replacing the whole roof at a couple $1 million probably as far as roofs. So we'd like to do the roof coating for about $250,000. That will give us a 15-year warranty. Operations building, replacing the boiler for $90,000. Operations building, replacing roof A and B for about $15,000. Technology upgrades, and then of course money we put away for the stadium upgrades. So if you put that together with the inflation and fees and permits contingencies, we're about $4.5 million for next year, and that includes the stadium upgrades.
Here's your 10 million.
A couple more photos, I'll be done. I do put together that non-routine maintenance budget, and a couple things I wanted to show you. The original lockers at Penn South Middle School, that we did the locker refurbishing at boys' room and girls' room. They did a really nice job. So instead of replacing them, we just refurbished them. I think it was well worth the money we saved. Same with the gym floors. That's Penn South's gym floor. You kind of get used to that color, but it's just years of buildup of wax and grime. When we sanded the floor, we found that there was really quite nice, very good shape. Big maple under there, and that's before the finish was on, and it's kind of finished product there. So redoing the gym floors, both at Penn South and Central, really came out really nice. So a question for the board, or for the facilities committee. The Poppy sign was actually made by somebody on my staff a long time ago. It's 4 foot high, it's 16 feet long, it's quite heavy. We did take it down, it's in storage, it's safe, it's in pretty good shape. And we can't put it back on the fence, it would be too easy to get your hands on it. It was up high, nobody could touch it. So where do we want to put it? So I'm not the best at photoshopping, but this is the best I can do, so here we go. How do you like that? So I talked to a couple of my guys, we can run some angles up behind the piers that hold the gates up and put the sign there. I mean, that's just one thought. We can put it on the building too, so just kind of throwing that out there, where you think we want to rehang that sign, because I know there's some people in the other families already asked me what we're going to do with it. So it is safe and sound, and maybe we can have further discussion with it, but I thought it would look pretty good there. I have to investigate it a little more to make sure that it would be safe there, and obviously we wouldn't put it up there if it's not, but that's, we did look into it a little bit, and I think we can, so. Either that or on the side of the south, maybe, so.
Maybe a code issue.
Any questions? Oh, I'm sorry, we got one more. If you haven't seen the mural project in the Aromas down there, that turned out really nice, really nice. I don't have the finished picture, but it turned out really nice. Any questions from the committee?
where all the people in the, the building that's being renovated, the IT and the transportation, where are they working now? And then what's the expected completion date?
We're expected to move back in around Thanksgiving,
Okay.
completion date. We moved the IT department, we moved transportation department. We're renting office trailers. They're right there in the back. It works really well for them because of the drivers being right there. The whole bus garage is right there. So for them to be stationed right there in the back in the bus parking lot is working really well for them. As a matter of fact, in their old office, they didn't have windows, and in their new office, they won't either because of the way it's designed, but in their trailers, they have nice windows and they love them. They have great views, but we'll be moving them back hopefully before Thanksgiving. We want to move them in first for a few reasons. One, because of the travel of the bus drivers, to get their offices first, and then two, to get the trailers back because we are renting them. IT department is stationed throughout, mostly here in high school. And their section's going to be really nice when they're back. They're going to have a really nice, secure, clean, a good workable area to do the re-imaging of their computers. We'll be able to bring hundreds and hundreds of laptops in there and be secure. And then food service is actually over in my building right now. And they're doing fine over there.
I have a question. About a year ago, maybe, we had some questions by South teachers and the theater group about expanding the auditorium there. Has there been any thought about that at South? Or has that been put back? I'm just questioning, I'm curious.
Well, it was discussed. I think we even came up with some costs to that, and they were quite high. That's when Dr. Kish was still here. And at that point, we weren't asked to do any further on that. So, if we want to revisit that sometime, that's fine.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything since.
Well, we were just asked to get costs, and we did come back with those costs at that time.
Which was about, what, remember?
I really don't.
Do you remember, Mike?
I know that we did have a plan, and cost that went with that plan was basically going to go on the other side of the cafeteria.
Right.
Josh was actually part of that, 2 years ago.
It was at least a year.
I could certainly send that to Kathy and Jeff, and if they want to recirculate that and see what the consensus is.
Because as I understand it, aren't they driving to the high school, busing to the high school to practice and rehearse, and is that still going on? That's how? Well, I have interest, I don't know if the other members would have.
I think we can look into it.
Yeah, we have that information. I just don't remember off the top of my head, so I have that information.
Was part of it, was something proposed, like to expand out the front too at one time?
Well, we were talking about possibly, moving it over to the cross field and doing a bridge over there and putting it there. Because originally we didn't think we'd have enough room down by the cafeteria on the left side, but it came back that we do, so that would be a smarter place to put it. So.
Okay, so then we'll see that in the near future, I guess.
25.
You guys will be ready to start talking about that before we go off on that tonight, since it's not on the agenda. But that would be a good idea, I think. Any other questions about what Mr. Waffler just went over? Jeff, I'm going to jump to the change order while you're still sitting here, if there's not any other questions. All right, so we'll do number 4 before number 3. That's a change order for the bleacher demolition job. It looks like a deduction of just around $24,845. So that will be during, unless, I guess we want to accept that reduction in price. Anybody not want to?
So what, was it around 74,000?
78,000.
78.
It's on your, if you click
Yeah,
on
the
little line,
bid was
it's right
the low bid was $78,000. The change order for money back is the $24,000 change. That puts us under the initial $56,000.
So it takes us down to 54,000.
Correct, right.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that will appear, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was just gonna, I have a question question about the, I know it says in here, I guess on one of the slides, it says that bleachers are expected to be completed on time. I mean, we're still expecting that or before, I mean, it's
Yeah.
September 26th is.
Absolutely, well, it's
I mean,
absolutely.
because it looks like it's been going very quickly, so,
We're still on track
okay.
for the 26 game.
Is there much more to be done? Is it,
The home, go ahead if you want to play it better.
The home side will be done by end of day tomorrow. They'll bring all their equipment and leftover material to the visitor side where they'll be until right up to the end. Anyone that's walked by there, it turned out really nice.
comes up there today?
As soon as they move, the excavating contractor will come back and they will regrade, seed and straw everything on the home side. And we plan on having our initial inspection with East Rockland Township to go over the home side, try to buy us a little bit of time toward the end there. So when they are finished, we'll only have the visitor side to have inspected. So we're trying to stack that and buy ourselves as much time, but as of right now, we're on, our contract completion date is the 24th. First game, obviously, is the 25th. So when we get to that last week, there's going to start to be more activity. The district is going to be moving equipment. We have to get the old bleachers out. So it's going to get very hectic very quickly, but as long as we stay out of their way, you know, fingers crossed we have good weather. Although we told them they're not allowed to leave unless it's lightning. We should have no problem completing that for the first game.
The PA system that was at Poppy is in my office, and we have that scheduled to be put back up here on the 12th.
Because that's only a few years old.
Oh, yeah, no, it's in good shape. Yeah, I actually brought him out to make sure that size-wise it would be okay, and he said absolutely. So they'll reinstall that on the 12th.
And have you, when we were at the fundraising committee meeting last week, we talked a little bit about the setup and where everything's gonna go and the bathrooms and the concession and the tickets. So is that all, is that plan worked out or?
It is. I met with Gina from Food Service and I went up today, and again, the township's telling us where we have to put our porta potties, so we're trying to work around that. So it looks like, as we come up through the gate and you go to your left, the porta potties are gonna be lined up there, because if we put the concession stand there, it's just gonna back up, thousands of people right at the main gate. So we're gonna move food service halfway around the back, on the other side of the electrical panels. That'll get, where we can get a lot of people in, and it's closer to the electric panels that I can get our electricity for the hot dog warmers, that sort of thing. So she's fine with that too, plus it's upwind of the porta potties, which is probably better than downwind. That is if the wind's blowing this way, which it does.
Is it, just gonna be tents?
It is gonna be tents for the 4 home games, yes, or 3 home games, yes.
So if it's raining, I mean, if it's like windy.
Well, we're gonna get sides on the tents in the back, so only the front will be open, we'll have tables, and we were able to get the line pass that will create, so we can get, at least 3 in or out, or 4 cash registers, and 4 lines in and out, so we can kind of get people out. And we talked about maybe taking them across the track versus the grass area, because it's around, but I think for this year, it might be a little bit inconvenience to have to walk around, but I think we want to keep them off the track. And if it looks like it's going to be raining, I'm going to put some stone up there anyway. That way, around the concession stand area, at least the walk from the main gate to the concession stand. If it looks like it's going to be raining, maybe I'll just add stone path and get all the way around the grass area, keep people out of the mud. Again, it's the best we can do for the 3 home games this year.
Is it gonna be up there from the first home game to the last home game, or is it gonna be taken down? And
The tents?
Yeah.
I think there's game back to back, we'll leave it there for that week, but then we'll take it down for a few weeks and we'll come back up. So we're gonna have to take all the equipment down, the hot dog warmers, the refrigerator.
And is that all coming out, the money for that, is that all coming out of the bleacher project, or is it a separate?
Well, there's already equipment owned at the old concession stands, so most of that we're bringing up, and I don't think we're looking to purchase anything for this year. I think we're fine, but it's gonna be limited sales. They're gonna make the hot dogs here in the kitchen, and then we're gonna run them up, and then she'll have warmers to keep them warm. She'll have coffee urns that will run up and that sort of thing. So this year will be somewhat limited, but there'll still be hot dogs and popcorn pie pizza and things like that. We don't need equipment this year that I'm aware of.
Could we own the tents?
No, we're gonna have to rent the tents, I'm sorry.
Everything, I mean, the pictures that you showed, all the projects this year look great. I mean, all the work done at South is
Yeah,
amazing. I
It
mean,
is.
really,
That building, I mean, you know, if you know the principal out there, she just loves that building, and what we're doing to it now just makes her smile, you know. It's so clean and a little more modern.
yeah, it looks
Yeah.
beautiful. I mean, the lockers on the
And the
floor,
lockers
the
are good,
outside,
the
it's
floor.
just,
She's very happy. And you know, we had a lot of water infiltration coming through those third floor windows in the 30s building. A lot of those windowsills were, you know, they were wood, but you could really, wasn't much wood left. So again, you know, we're not aggressive by doing things early. We're usually there right at the end to make these changes. You know, there's not many years left to wait to do some of these changes. And the roofs and the windows, the ones at West Rock Hill, they were dangerous. The windows at West Rock Hill, when we changed them out a couple years ago.
it's great. Seems like it was a good productive summer.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff, that was a good presentation. So, pick up where I left off. On the agenda, next board meeting, that demolition deduct will be on the agenda. So nobody objected to that. Number 3, which became number 4, is the van truck trailer review. So this hasn't been on the docket for a while, and it's back on here. And we've had a lot of discussion about this over the past several months. And tonight I was kind of wondering like what the heck we're going to be talking about here. Where are we going to go with this? I think we've talked about it every which way.
Battery and battery.
But I was wrong. There is another way. And I'm going to ask Dr. Radigan, is that okay? What's happened, I was informed this afternoon that Mr. Loeffler and Dr. Radigan and some other staff actually worked with the PMA during a load out or load up. And as a result of that participation, some new things have come up, and we're going to talk about those now. And then how that affects what we're going to try to do to get the right equipment, or at least get it on the agenda to get the right equipment that makes sense for the band and us. So, there you go.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Kesper. So I'll give everyone an update on what has happened. At the last board meeting, many of you will remember that there were some issues raised about safety concerns with the van, truck, and trailer, which we've heard before. And last year, as you probably will remember, Mr. Loeffler and I met with Mr. Benson, and we tried to address all safety concerns, because obviously safety is our #1 issue and #1 concern. We don't want to see anybody get hurt, students, staff, faculty, parents, anyone. And we thought we had that under control, so when we heard last meeting that there were some safety issues again or concerns, we thought it was important to meet. So as Mr. Kasper said, there was a meeting last week. It was myself, Mrs. Johnson, Mr. Loeffler, Mr. Benson, and Ms. DeBona. Thought it was important to bring Ms. DeBona up to speed since she's our new principal. And we were really trying to get a handle on, what are we missing, what are the issues? And I think is important to reiterate to everyone that the truck itself passed inspection, the lift passed inspection. So the truck itself is safe. The truck is not the problem. Sometimes the problem was in the operation of the truck. So I reiterated again with Mr. Benson that our solicitor has advised that no parents and no students should be operating a lift. They are permitted to load and unload, just like in classrooms. You could have students loading and unloading boxes. You could be doing that in the auditorium. And yes, the bottom line is, unfortunately, people can get hurt at any time. And if that does happen, we certainly want to address it. So on Friday, I had asked Mr. Loeffler if he would please go out and meet with Mr. Benson at 2:30 when they were going to be loading for an away game. And he went out there because one of the things we were considering doing was maybe having the custodians help on this end, because there's like 4 different legs to this. When you're going to an away game, obviously you have to load the truck, it gets unloaded on the other end, you load it up again, it gets unloaded back here. But we seemed to have a snafu or needed some assistance on this end. So Mr. Loeffler was there were some parents. I think Mrs. Yardley was actually one of the parents that was involved. And I asked Mr. Loeffler to give me an update on, what he observed and what he felt were the issues. He felt the actual, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, Jeff, I'll let you reiterate when I'm finished, the actual lifting on and off the lift itself, everything went fine. It was Rebe that was operating that as an employee. She is allowed to do that. There were some parents helping, some staff members helping, and everything went smoothly until they realized they didn't have enough room to accommodate all the equipment. So the issue now became not really an issue of safety, but one of space. So our new dilemma is, the band we heard is growing. There are more instruments, more students playing the instruments, so what do we do? So this is something now Mr. Loeffler is looking into. What are our options? We talked about making the top of the truck, there's like a shelving area more secure so we can put some instruments there, but we don't still think that's enough. So we probably do need another truck. Now, do we rent one for all these away events, or do we purchase another one? So we're kind of in a quandary, and again, I go back to reiterate, it's not really an issue of safety, it's more of an issue of space. But Mr. Loeffler, do you want to add to that anything that I missed?
No, I think you have most of it. I think we need to meet with Mr. Benson again and kind of get a better feel of maybe even what the future brings for him. He talks about, I think, 160 people. How much bigger is that going to get? The golf cart came into play, how they're getting it back and forth, and can it travel that way, or does it need to travel a different way? Can a parent be, pulling that on a trailer? So these are some questions that we need to know. One thing I asked Greg, I said, why don't you put all the little equipment up on the shelf in the back of the truck? Well, I need that off first because it has to go to the kids right away. It takes them longer to prepare than it does the stuff that comes off last. They're ready to go. But we're talking about maybe 20 minutes in time. So I think we need to get a better idea how Greg operates, what the future brings, and have some discussions that way so we can make an intelligent educational decision on purchasing either a trailer, a truck, rent a truck, so on. And really the golf cart is kind of the twist of all this, how to get it there.
How does it get there?
Well, I guess they're on, I think, a school trailer pulled by a parent. We're not sure that's the best avenue.
Who owns the golf cart?
Well, Pennridge does, whether it's...
Was it donated? Because in the letter that the PMA sent to Ms. DeBona, Dr. Radigan, and to the board, it says the PMA purchased the golf cart, but it doesn't say who owns it. So was it,
I don't know.
so I'm just wondering, like, was it actually donated to the school district?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. She's a band member, you'd think she'd know.
We'll have to find out, that's what I mean. A lot of questions came up during this.
Okay, so, well, and then
We'll meet it again, and then we'll update the board.
so what's gonna happen for, this Friday, there's another away game, and then Saturday is a competition. I think there are about 7 competitions in the season. So, are we gonna look at renting something for, just each, weekend that it's needed, or?
That's what Mr.
finding-
Loeffler's going to look into tomorrow.
Oh, okay, or finding if there's a way to pack it, at least to make it work.
We certainly could try to pack it a little better. They didn't seem to have a lot of straps, a lot of bungee cords, something that could have been used to be a little more helpful too. Maybe we could put a little work into the rack to make it a little more secure and get some of the smaller instruments. You saw there was, 30 cases of water, 40 cases of water, there's a lot of water. That could have went up on the rack. That doesn't really have to come off right away. And that would have freed up a lot of space. So we can repack the truck a little better. But from the stories I was hearing, there was still a lot of flutes and that sort of thing that were on the bus, or going with the kids on the bus. So.
Well, that's the other question too, because I know when we were there loading the truck, and they said, it was probably just 2 or 3 years ago that the kids were putting all of the instruments on the truck, even the flutes and saxophones and the trumpets. But then one of the parents was saying then the kids were, then they leave their cases and then you have everybody, so I don't know if it's seems like it's better that the kid's responsible for their instrument, but that's something that, I don't know. Because they said then they'd leave the cases all over the ground and you have to, you know, and they weren't putting them back and, but it doesn't seem like there's room for that now anyway, so. Yeah, so,
So
yeah, what happens next?
the trailer, we talked about this a couple times. The trailer provides equal, less, or more space.
The trailer.
That came up before, I
has-
can't remember where we ended up.
The trailer has a little more room than the van truck. Now, what the trailer's good for is putting the golf cart up. You don't have to tow it. But that little extra room that the trailer does have would be taken up by the golf cart. So, if we had a trailer with a golf cart, you're back to a full truck with not all the equipment on it. So, in reality, we need 2 vehicles.
So I have a couple, can I ask a few questions, is that okay? I'd like a couple, 5 in a row.
You're the chair first.
Try to share, trying to share.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going then. So, how, the weight of that trailer, like, if you got it, I mean, that question also came up too, and I think you brought it up, Jeff. Can that 2500 pull that trailer? Is the size, how does the size go if we get a truck to go with it? And if the size of, you know, can we get a truck that that has space that can tow that thing? I mean, you know, like some kind of, like you see a plumber's truck or one of those type of things.
Yeah, that's a good question. I brought this up originally, you know, to pull a 26-foot trailer is a large trailer, especially if you're gonna throw, all right, the music weight alone is pretty heavy, but now you put a golf cart in the back, you know. I'm not an expert, and I did talk to Mr. Duke about that, and he tends to agree that that's a lot of weight in a long trailer by who's driving. Is it still going to be, you know, the bus drivers, Mrs. Johnson, I guess? You know, but even Carl says it still takes some experience for that. So, again, that's another question came up. I don't think we can make a decision at this point, knowing what we found out Friday and you know, knowing what we're starting to get into, that it's a pretty big trailer with a lot of weight to be pulling.
Do we know how much weight it's gonna be? That's really critical that we know that.
Well,
And even the weight distribution in the trailer would be important.
correct, right. So that's, you know,
So what I was getting at is if we're going to go down that route with the trailer instead of a truck or rental, you know, we should get the right rig, you know, and if you're losing some space, and if you can gain it up with a larger truck, I always thought you should have had a bigger engine than that myself. I pull a little trailer around and I don't know how you could pull one of those big trailers loaded up with a truck that size. I always wondered about
if it
that.
wasn't for the golf cart, I don't think we'd have an issue. We could probably purchase a truck, you know, we have a bread truck, and it's lower to the ground. It's, you know, maybe this high, so there's no safety, you know, kids can really load that truck easily. And we take up the extra equipment that won't fit in the van truck that we have already, so the 2 trucks would work very well, but then you have the golf cart. How does that get there? To get the golf cart there, to make it easy for the van, you need a trailer to kind of drive it up on. You know, we could always load it here somehow on the dock area, but you don't know where you're gonna end up at a different school trying to get it off there. So, you know, the golf cart's really the problem. If we can figure out what to do with the golf cart, I think as far as purchasing the proper equipment, not a 26-foot trailer, to be towed by, you know, I think if we can figure out the golf cart, we can figure out the truck situation.
Do you have to have the golf cart at every event? Is that a must-have?
Well, apparently, you know, I'm not the right person to
Can
ask,
you get a
but
bike or something?
I was thinking scooter.
Roller skis.
I'm not the person to
Or
ask.
scooter.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Apparently, they need to, you know, pull it on and pull it off quickly. They kind of make a train with the xylophones that they made, and some of the.
I'm sorry that I don't know
I
what.
saw it, I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
saw it Friday night.
And if, you know, they get it off quickly, they get it on quickly.
Took down the
Is
truck.
there another way? I don't know. What other schools do? I don't know.
So then my,
Does every school have a golf cart? Because then couldn't they I mean, like, I'm just wondering, if every school uses a golf cart, then wouldn't they share?
No, because every school's different.
no sharing.
No sharing.
In fact, I have 2 more questions. Sure. So I think what we're getting at is we're look at a better, the right way, or the right equipment.
Right.
So I know that you guys wanted a trailer, but maybe that's not what you need. Or maybe it is, or maybe it is. So I guess what we're gonna look at, you'll come back with the need and then how we can, get the right equipment, get the right thing. So I'm kind of, I'm not happy that they didn't end up getting what they needed for this year, but I think in the end, if we would have dove into that, it would have been another one of those things maybe where, we wish we could have. So, so that's my last question. When you're going through this and you're going to talk to the band folks, I presume, and since they're the ones that do it, then you'll come back with an option of either a truck or a combo truck trailer.
We'll give you a couple options. These are the options that you have. This is the need and these are the options.
And then for me, with all due respect to this topic, and we've been talking about it so much, that should, whatever those options come back to be, should be, well, here they are, and then we can get it on the agenda and then see how everybody feels about it. Because I think, these people out here must be going nuts talking about this. We don't, we love to talk about things over and over again. But they're actually, I'm not really in the truck or in the golf cart. Well, I'm in a different golf cart, but not that golf cart. And we should resolve this. We should, I think there's a opinion out there that maybe the district and don't want to resolve it, but I don't think that's the case at all. I think that we just want to get the right thing and just get it on the agenda and put it to vote where it belongs. I think that's, so I'm done talking about it.
I have a question. I have a question. You brought up, you're saying now, the proposed trailer that, because we never really talked about that before, the amount of instruments and then the golf carts going in there. Can we find out for certain, that weight or an estimate and what this trailer can absolutely take? Like Dave said, obviously weight distribution is a factor in there, how you load it, but I don't think it was ever stated before that the golf cart was going to go in there. So is that a bigger issue than we're realizing in regard to even making that trailer work? Like Barry said, find a solution, be it the trailer or something else, but we don't want to get the trailer to find out this was the wrong solution. If in the end, that's what, especially since you're talking about putting a large amount of instruments, which Mr. Benson's saying is growing, and we've seen that growth in the band, and then put a golf cart in there on top of it. So, should we seriously look at not putting a golf cart in the trailer and some other option?
Well, those are things we're going to discuss in the meeting.
But weight-wise,
Right.
get a better idea what that trailer will hold.
Just briefly, I want to confirm, Dr. Radigan. So you said that the students are allowed to load,
Yes.
correct? Okay. And that an employee is operating the lift
Correct.
in all 4 stops along the way? Okay.
In terms of the weight of the truck, load it and take it to a weigh station. Get your weight before and your weight after.
Sure.
There's your weight.
Yeah, we can do that.
In terms of the truck that you're considering purchasing to tow the trailer, are you considering a diesel or a gasoline?
We were considering a gasoline at that time, 2,500.
No, you're gonna get a diesel to pull that. The diesel is gonna pull pretty much whatever you have, plus on our buses diesel, it's a more efficient way to go.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, it's gonna be a heavier duty type of truck. You're probably gonna need somewhere either a 350 or 3,500 minimum to pull the size of the trailer that you're considering. Okay? Also, I don't know if this is a feasible thing either, but the bed of the truck, would that be able to accommodate? I don't know the weight of what a golf cart is, but if it's electric, it's going to be pretty heavy because it's a battery. Could it sit in the bed of? Again, it's just, I'm throwing it out there just because the discussion's going to come up. I might not be there, I'm thinking about it now, so why not bring it up to you now?
All good questions, and we can review all that.
Okay, anybody else here on the board have any last minute? We normally don't do that. Well, actually, we're at the end of this meeting.
I realize that if you guys would just ask East, because East is running what we've been looking at, and they put it all in their trail.
Well, you guys, that'll be up to the administration.
Is there band, I was down there Friday night, so I can't say for sure, is their band comparable size?
It has been, it's a little smaller this year, but it has been over the past, comparatively speaking.